Now, in the meantime, the U.S. has said its forces' blockade of Iranian ports near the Strait of Hormuz has now been fully implemented. Suh-young has this report.
The U.S. military said it has completely halted economic trade going into and out of Iran by sea. In a statement, Admiral Brad Cooper, the head of the United States Central Command, said U.S. forces continue to maintain control of the region's sea lanes and that the blockade of Iranian ports is now fully implemented. He said roughly 90% of Iran's economy is fueled by international trade by sea, and that in less than 36 hours of the blockade, all economic trade entering or leaving Iran by sea had been halted. The U.S. military said more than 10,000 Navy, Air Force, and Marine Corps personnel, along with more than a dozen warships and over 100 aircraft, were taking part in the operation. The U.S. Central Command stressed that the blockade is being enforced impartially against vessels of all nations entering or departing Iranian ports and coastal areas. At the same time, it said freedom of navigation remains in place for vessels transiting the Strait of Hormuz on their way to non-Iranian ports. There are already signs that vessels are being forced to turn back to re-enter an Iranian port. The U.S. forces said 6 merchant vessels were ordered to return to Iranian ports in the Gulf of Oman. And it is now reported that 8 vessels have been redirected. Ship tracking data also suggests that the U.S.-sanctioned tanker Reach Starry made its way back to the Strait of Hormuz after exiting the Gulf the day before, failing to break through a U.S. blockade. At the same time, there are signs that traffic through the strait is beginning to recover after the U.S. blockade. It is reported that more than 20 merchant vessels, including cargo vessels, container ships, and oil tankers, passed through the Strait of Hormuz over the past 24 hours. Traffic remains well below pre-war levels when an average of 135 ships pass through the strait each day. But it is still a significant increase from the days immediately after the talks collapsed. The recovery appears to reflect a U.S. decision to allow ships not traveling to or from Iran to continue using the strait. Suh-young, Arirang News.